my name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Soulivity Live. I'm so glad that you've joined us tonight because we have a great show. So let's get this party started, okay? Did you hear that? No? Well, maybe your body is telling you something and you may not be listening. There's an old saying that goes, it comes as a whisper, then as a knock, then as a boulder that hits your head. Science tells us that these sentiments also align with our own body's messages. First, a discomfort, then pain, then more symptoms that can lead you to a hospital. You get it? Typically, most of us worry about what we might miss out on by continuing to push and push in our lives. There's a project or a demand, either at work or at home, that we rationalize is more important. When at the time, what we need to do is just stop long enough for our bodies, minds, and hearts to tell us what they're longing to communicate. I mean, when was the last time that you asked yourself or did a comfort check, like really asked, what's bothering me? So tonight's show is all about learning your own body's language so we can have happier, healthier, and more peaceful lives. And to help us out, we have back on our show, Diane, our resident medical intuitive, who has assisted thousands of individuals in learning how to heal their emotional wounds, leading to restoring their mind, body, and spirit wellness. So with that, let's get her on the show. Hey, Diane, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
Welcome back to the show. I'm so glad that you're here with us.
Thank you. It's great. I loved what you said about listening to your body when it's telling us to stop, and instead we keep going.
Exactly. Now, everyone out there, I want to remind you, we love questions. So throughout the show, if you have a question for me or Diane, please just post right here on the live stream and we'll get to as many of your questions as we can. So, Diane, we were talking offline about Dr. Candace Pert's work and how emotions affect the body. I think you mentioned, one of her breakthrough books or philosophies was the molecules of emotions, right?
Yes.
What is that exactly?
Well, unless something is scientifically proven in this country, it's not considered factual by the scientific and the medical community. Right. So Candace Pert set out to prove that our body is totally affected by emotions, because we had this huge separation in science between what our mind thinks, our spirituality, and our bodies were two completely separate entities. And it's so not true. So Candace Pert proved in the laboratory that for every emotion that we have, our bodies are going to respond on a cellular level. Every cell responds to what we think or how we feel. Wow. So really training the mind is one of the most masterful things that we can do, because we all have habits of negative thinking, or we're so afraid of something happening or not happening in the future. Well, our body is to respond to that, and we wonder why I'm stressed.
Gotcha.
And then the other part of it is, when you talked about rest, what do we do in today's world when we're tired, we drink caffeine, or, we eat something. Right. And so what it's doing is that it's just creating more stress on our bodies.
Gotcha. So that's what leads us to really learning how to connect, right, with what's going on internally.
Yeah, so listen to your body. So if you have a headache, then you can learn to talk to your body. You can sit down, get quiet, and say, what's going on.
Okay.
And when you say what's going on, it's usually emotion. Obviously, you're not going to say to your body, hey, what's up? What's going on there? That's not going to help.
Right.
But if you ask, if you check in with your feelings and you say, what's going on? And I do that all the time, and it will draw me back to some annoying thing or thing that I was annoyed about that I've been trying to push away because I didn't want to deal with it.
Gotcha.
And part of it is we're not giving ourselves credit. Something that's annoying is a lesson to be learned if we decide to break it down. Like, why is that bothering me? Well, it bothers me because I'm afraid that, and fill in the blank,
Gotcha. Is that what's called a discomfort check?
Yes, that's definitely.
Okay.
So anything that you're feeling, any kind of discomfort at all. And what we're doing, people will go, well, so what? I don't have time for this. The thing is that we have been trained not to have time to check in with ourselves and take care of our bodies. And so, all of us are shocked when we go to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, you have something. And we just go, how'd this happen? How did my body betray me?
Right.
Well, your body has been storing and building and holding all of this stuff until it stops.
That's why it's so important to kind of listen and connect on a regular basis, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Now, let's say we've done a discomfort check, right? And we find out maybe there's something going on. What do we do then?
So we think, well, for me, now that I've been doing it enough, then it relieves the discomfort because I've found, and then it takes us from being victims to creators. And so when we find the source, we go, oh, okay, this seems to be annoying me or a problem for me. And then get creative. You have to stay in a place where you're calm and you feel safe. And you say, what are some solutions or what are some strategies that I can apply to remove this anxiety from, anxiety? And so really you're becoming solution oriented, which is not just helping your body, it's helping your behavior out in the world and your success.
Gotcha. Now, what are some of the things that you would recommend to some of your clients around how to practice? What are some of the solutions?
So here's the thing. Here are the things that your body wants. Your body wants balance.
Okay.
So you can ask yourself, am I in balance? And that's in everything. That's how active are you? Do you sit too much? Are you moving enough? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough of the right things and not going for the things that aren't? So your body wants moderation.
Gotcha.
We found that the hard way, don't we always find it the hard way?
Right. It's after we've had too much and we pay the price for it.
Yeah, it's like, that didn't work so well. And our body wants a normal rhythm of activity and deep rest. So that's, just generally speaking, if any of those things, if we're not listening or doing any, if any of those things are out of whack, then our body's going to suffer.
Wow. So things like maybe a daily practice of like meditation or yoga. You mentioned eating, help, being conscious about the foods that we're putting in our bodies. Are all those things kind of like things that are more solution based?
Yes, physically, yes. But when you talked about yoga and meditating, that brings mind, body, spirit. And I think that's what's key here is integrating mind, body, and spirit.
Gotcha.
It's when the body breaks and we're so unaware of what caused it, there has been a disconnect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can check in with your body when you're resting or meditating too.
Wow.
And just, if something like, I'll get a stiff neck and I'll just think, okay, is it body mechanics? I
Mm-hmm.
was at the gym today, and I'm looking at all these people lifting weights. Even some of the trainers, their body mechanics aren't in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking, you have to be really intuitive with your body.
Mm.
And we're on the computer, electronic devices all the time, so we're kind of hunched over. So
Right.
I have to, and so I get in the car and I find myself kind of bending the wrong way. So really, that shoulders straight, arch your back, that whole thing, and exercise. So that's the body mechanics part. So part of it, I mean, it's so complicated. It's so simple, but it's so complicated.
Right.
But
Right.
once you become intuitive with your body, you're going to start to notice right away and make corrections. You're going to course correct a lot quicker if you're mindful of it.
Gotcha. So maybe people start out with the body things first, and then that will lead them into mind and spirit kinds of exercises. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Okay.
I think because we're so disconnected from our bodies, I think that's a really, strong focus. I saw a meme or a cartoon or something a while back where they showed what the human body is going to be turning into: a
Mhm.
really big head and a shriveled up body. We're so in our head all the time.
Right.
We're thinking, we're processing. Electronic devices, we are in our head. We are totally not connected to our bodies. So the kids who are sitting there playing video games for 8 hours, and eating and whatever,
Right.
they're totally have shut their connection to their body off.
Wow. Now, in my own life, I try to stay grounded or
Mhm.
centered. What
Mhm.
does that mean to you personally?
So I found myself ungrounded. Somebody pointed out that I was ungrounded or not grounded. You're not in your body. And I said, what's that mean? And your energy is so, outside your body
Hmm.
that your energy isn't down, grounded, like all the way grounded would be to your feet. You're floating around somewhere up here. And I go, this is my normal.
Mm,
And they go, that's not good.
mm,
So I can tell by voices if a person's grounded or not. So a friend will call me up,
mhm.
especially if it's a woman, and her voice will be kind of high pitched and airy, and I'll know that she's not grounded.
Gotcha.
When people are passing, getting close to death, their voice totally changes. It's
Mm.
almost like, if I were wearing a microphone to talk to you right now, it's almost like the microphone's over there when people are
Wow.
getting ready to pass. There's a shift in energy.
Wow.
So we need to keep our energy really in our body. And a good way to do that, these meditations that you can do by yourself, just sit there and feel from top to bottom. Feel areas in your body. Say, I'm feeling my forehead, I'm feeling my eyes, and then take it down to your throat and your heart.
Mm.
And just slowly do it until you feel your feet. And then say, feel your feet on the ground. You wake up or you open your eyes and you feel so complete, so whole.
Right. Right. That process seems similar to other processes like aligning chakras and
Yes.
other energy kind of things within the body. And I know people may think that, some of this is like kind of weird or whatever, but it really isn't. It's more about trying to get in tune with what's going on with you. And you'll probably be surprised at the answers that you get back in terms of like Diane was saying about a headache or a backache or something like that, and you'll be led to do something differently. What's one
Well,
of the
when we
yeah, go
get
ahead.
massages or acupuncture,
Exactly.
the massage therapist is, bringing us to points in our body.
Right.
Physical therapy does the same thing. Acupuncture does the same thing. So those are, the outside source getting us grounded in our body, and we can do it ourselves.
Wow. What do you think one of the ultimate goals are of this process? Do you think it's self-awareness?
self-awareness is life altering, really, because self-awareness brings your connection to what you're feeling, how you're feeling, how you're showing up in the world, how you're relating to others. And it really is a maturity. You know, it's a journey in the maturity that brings us, not only, I think, because it all starts with us. You know, a lot of us are complaining about the political climate right now, and we're pointing fingers and we're angry. Right. Each of us individually owns our own, is responsible for our own mind, body, spiritual connection. Wow. Once we make that and we become self-aware, then everything changes. But it starts with us.
So it sounds like this is and I know that this is true in my own life. Doing this process, listening to your body, becoming more self-aware is not only just good for yourself in terms of hearing what's going on internally, but it's probably also a good way of dealing with things that are external that are happening too. Is that right? That's what you're saying? Wow.
Once I started a more disciplined practice of mind, body, spirit integration, I don't have any pain. I was always getting some kind of an ache or pain at the gym, or, you know, some athletic activity I was doing. I don't have any pain. And it's kind of like I'm cleaning. It's like we're cleaning house. Our body is our house, our mind-body connection. And we're constantly, because life is, you know, full of things. We're going to get thrown curveballs day in and day out. And if we don't autocorrect and become self-aware as we go along, it's going to build up. And that's what happens when people end up at the doctor's office and the doctor gives you some medication for something or other. Right. Or, you know, we start self-medicating. You know, we have an obesity problem. We have a substance abuse problem. Wow. We have a lot of anger. Road rage is, you know, there, all of these things are more and more and more. And it's because we care ourselves, you know, and we just let it build up and we keep going on until something breaks. That's kind of like a migraine headache, or a debilitating headache of some sort. It's your body saying, stop. You know, and it could be a combination of environmental factors, something that you ate, and a stress. Or it could be, you know, all of those things piled up. Right. And that's what we have to start to determine. I used to get migraines, and I literally said, I'm not going to have another one. And so I went deep into my
that one.
Okay. I went deep into my behavioral, you know, how I acted, what I ate, and everything. I did tie it to some foods. Those will never come back into my life again. And I had a fluorescent light sensitivity.
Wow. Okay.
So and then stress. So if I ate the foods I shouldn't have eaten, was in a stressful environment, intensive care unit as an RN with fluorescent lights overhead, I would have debilitating migraines. So once I, you know, took away those two factors, I can still have stress, but my body can manage it.
Well, you know, as you were talking about how people end up maybe in a more serious health or wellness situation where they're in a hospital, maybe they're taking medication or something like that, we should still do the other things that maybe we should have been doing all along, right? It's not like, oh, well, I've messed up and now I can't change, so I'm just going to just medicate, right? We can always do the meditation and all these other things that they're holistic. Am I correct on that?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people do give up. Well, that's giving up your power, really.
Oh, okay.
And so doctors are used to us giving up our power. They don't trust us to eat a healthy diet. They're going to give us, you know, the pills for cholesterol because, hey, if you're not going to die on my watch, take this. I can't trust you're not going to eat bacon every day. You know?
Right, right.
So, I mean, I'm exaggerating just to make a point, is that we do have a victim mentality about our bodies when we go seek medical treatment. And, disclaimer here, traditional Western medicine saves lives. Don't stay away from it. If you need it, you need it. If your, system has gone to the point of dis-ease or disorder, you have to get checked out by a health practitioner.
Right.
I'm just talking about trying to prevent some of these things from manifesting into big physical problems.
Right. It sounds like it's not either or, but and with, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Seek your health practitioner, your health care provider, that kind of thing, and also do some of these things too, because it may help. My guess is it may help as you transition, as you get well, you can even be healthier when you get on the other side of whatever your disease is, correct?
Yes. A perfect example is my uncle is 93, great uncle, 93,
Wow.
is in memory care. And he went in as a diabetic hypertensive. And he's eating food in memory care. He's not going to the store and getting all of the things that he used to get. He's no longer a diabetic, and his blood pressure is lower. They've had to lower his medication.
Wow.
And he's totally off his medication he had type 2 diabetes. So if, like you said, if you do both, if you get to the point where you need medication for diabetes or medication for blood pressure, keep doing those other things. And as you keep going back to the doctor, they may realize that, or, you may realize that your levels have changed and you're not going to need those things now.
Wow. So let's bring this around. So what people need to understand is, first and foremost, that our emotions actually do affect our body. And this is scientifically proven, right?
Yes. So very, very important. Train your mind. If you have a negative thought, a feeling of fear, an unrealistic anxiety, even if it's realistic, check in and stop the negative thinking. Every time you think, I can't do this, I don't want to do this, you're creating a cellular reaction in your body. So
wow.
Discipline. It's a discipline, one day at a time, right?
I mean, again, I know people, it sounds easy, and there is some simplicity to it, but it's a practice, right, Diane? I mean, this is a practice that you have to do and you have to cultivate over time. Speaking of cultivating, Diane, what's one thing that you would recommend practically to our viewers out there around how to begin this practice of listening to our bodies?
Sit and check in. And every little ache or pain you have, you can ask, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me? What's going on?
Wow. I mean, again, it's like that simple thing. It's like, okay, what's going on with me? And having that conversation with ourselves, right? Where, okay, that's new. That little ache or that little pain is something that I haven't felt before. Let me just kind of check in and say, or ask myself, what's bothering you? I mean,
it's a practice. It's a daily practice. Every thought that comes into your mind, be self-aware, as you pointed out, of the thoughts that you're thinking. That will change your life.
Wow. Diane, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I mean, look, everyone, this is important to know and to practice. It connects, as Diane was saying, it connects with everything we do, we say, how we relate to people, how we relate to our experiences. Because if we're not checking in with ourselves and then getting self-aware, we can't move on to doing things in terms of our purpose or passion, living a high quality life. We are basically sabotaging that. I guess, Diane, you would agree with that as well.
Absolutely. And I didn't really come out with this gift that I had to have to help other people physically. But when I did, I felt more connected to my spirit. And Brian, I bet the same thing happens for you. This is your gift, Soulivity, magazine. And it's probably where you feel most alive.
Yeah.
So I think if we can get, clean up our emotional house and really get in touch with our bodies, we'll find gifts that we haven't been using. And that is, to me, a fabulous place to be.
Wow. Well, on that, I'm going to say again, thank you, Diane, for joining us, for sharing some wisdom on how we can connect with ourselves for just not only better holistic outcomes, but actually, from what you were saying, actually seizing our own power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, Diane, of course, will be back on the show soon. So, look out for her and join us, because there's going to be a lot more great information on this subject and other subjects regarding our holistic health. So, I'm also going to remind everybody that you'll be able to see this video and all the other videos by downloading our Soulivity mobile app. It's absolutely free. You can find it on Google Play and the App Store. So this is Brian Wesley Johnson saying to all of you, thanks for joining us tonight. And I'm wishing you a very happy, peaceful, and passion-filled life. Good night. Inspiration 24 hours a day by downloading the Soulivity mobile application, available at Google Play and the App Store.